Cruises are supposed to be relaxing. You unpack once, enjoy the ocean, visit beautiful places, and let the ship take care of everything. But here's something many passengers, especially seniors, don't realize. Cruise ships and cruise ports have quietly become a huge target for scammers. Why? Because cruise passengers are seen as travelers who are relaxed, excited, and sometimes unfamiliar with how things work in different ports or even online before the cruise begins. And unfortunately, some of these scams are incredibly convincing. We're talking about fake cruise agents, shops claiming jewelry is a rare investment, beauty treatments that suddenly cost thousands of dollars, and even scammers pretending to be the cruise line itself. In this video, we're going through 7 cruise ship scams seniors should watch out for before their next voyage. Some of these happen before you even step on the ship. Some happen in cruise ports, and a few have caught experienced cruisers completely off guard. And make sure you stay until the end, because one of the final scams has cost cruise passengers thousands of dollars before they even realized what was happening. Number 1. The fake cruise customer service scam. One of the fastest growing cruise scams right now actually happens before you even step on the ship. It usually starts with something very simple. You're getting ready for your cruise and you need to check something about your booking. Maybe you want to ask about luggage rules, final payments, shore excursions, or boarding times. So you do what almost everyone does. You open Google, type in the cruise line's name, and look for the customer service phone number. And that's where the scam can begin. In many cases, scammers create fake websites or fake phone listings that look like the official cruise line support number. When people call the number, the person who answers sounds professional and says something like, "Thank you for calling the cruise reservation center." Everything sounds completely legitimate, but it isn't. Instead of reaching the cruise line, you've actually reached a scam call center pretending to be them. These scammers will often ask for your booking number and then start telling you there's a problem with your reservation. They might say, "Your cruise still has unpaid port fees. Your booking hasn't been finalized yet. We need to confirm your credit card details." Some victims are even told that if they don't make a payment immediately, their cruise could be canceled. And because the person sounds helpful and already knows details about cruises, many people believe them. There have been real cases where travelers lost hundreds or even thousands of dollars this way. In one reported case, a traveler searching for cruise support ended up calling a fake number that appeared online and was convinced to pay $768 in extra fees that were completely fraudulent. What makes this scam so convincing is that it often looks exactly like the real thing. Some scammers even buy advertising online, so their fake phone numbers appear above the real cruise line website in search results. Cruise forums have also reported cases where people called what they believed was the cruise reservation center, only to be told they owed bogus fees that didn't actually exist. And by the time victims realize something is wrong, the money has already been taken. So how do you protect yourself from this? The safest thing you can do is only call the phone number listed directly on the official cruise line website, not one from a search result, not one from a random website. And never trust anyone who suddenly says your cruise booking has a surprise fee that must be paid immediately. Because for many cruise passengers, this scam has ruined their vacation before it even began. Number 2, the fake cruise deal scam. Everyone loves a good cruise deal, and if you've ever searched online for cruises, you've probably seen advertisements that promise things like 7-day Caribbean cruise for 70% off, last-minute cabins available, luxury cruise upgrades for just a few $100s. At first glance, it looks like you've stumbled onto an incredible bargain, but unfortunately, some of these deals are actually part of a scam that has been catching more and more travelers in recent years. Here's how it usually works. Someone sees an ad online or on social media for a cruise that looks unbelievably cheap. Sometimes it's advertised as a limited time deal or a special offer for seniors. When they click the link or call the phone number, they reach someone claiming to be a travel agent. The person sounds knowledgeable. They talk about ships, itineraries, cabin types, and even use real cruise line names. Everything seems legitimate. The agent explains that they have access to discounted cabins or unsold inventory, and that the deal is only available for a short time. Then comes the catch. They ask for a deposit right away to secure the cabin. Sometimes they'll say there are only a few cabins left. Other times they claim the price will disappear within the hour. That pressure makes people feel like they have to act quickly. Victims are often asked to pay using methods that are hard to reverse, such as bank transfers, gift cards, or payment apps. And once the money is sent, the deal disappears. The cruise booking never existed. Some travelers only discover the truth when they arrive at the cruise terminal and try to check in, only to be told there is no reservation in their name at all. Travel protection groups and cruise forums have reported multiple cases like this, where passengers lost hundreds or even thousands of dollars to fake travel agents advertising cruise deals online. And what makes the scam especially convincing is that the scammers often use real cruise ships, real itineraries, and real sailing dates in their advertisements. So when people search online, everything seems to match up. The easiest way to protect yourself from this scam is simple. If a cruise deal looks unbelievably cheap, take a moment to verify it directly with the cruise line or a well-known travel agency. And never send money to someone claiming to hold a cruise cabin unless you can confirm they are a legitimate travel agent or the official cruise line. Because when it comes to cruise vacations, a deal that seems too good to be true often is. Number 3. The jewelry investment scam. One of the most common scams cruise passengers run into doesn't happen on the ship at all. It happens the moment you step off the ship in port. Many cruise destinations, especially in the Caribbean, Mexico, and parts of the Mediterranean, are filled with jewelry stores that specifically target cruise passengers. You'll often see signs that say things like recommended by cruise lines, duty-free, tax-free jewelry, exclusive cruise passenger discounts. Sometimes a friendly staff member even stands outside the shop and welcomes cruise passengers inside. At first, it feels like a normal shopping experience. The salesperson may offer you a drink, show you beautiful diamonds or gemstones, and explain that the jewelry is a rare opportunity. And then the pitch begins. They might say something like, "This gemstone is very rare. You won't find this price anywhere else. This piece will actually increase in value over time." In some cases, passengers are told the jewelry is a great investment and that buying it now could be like buying gold years ago. But many travelers later discover the truth. The jewelry they paid thousands of dollars for is often worth far less than they were told. Consumer groups and cruise forums are full of stories from passengers who purchased diamonds, emeralds, or other gemstones in cruise ports, only to later have the items appraised back home. And in some cases, the jewelry turned out to be worth a fraction of the price they paid. One cruiser shared a story online about buying what they were told was a rare gemstone for several $1,000s during a cruise stop, only to discover later that similar stones were selling online for a few $100s. And the tricky part is that the salespeople are often very skilled at creating pressure. They might say the deal is only available today because your ship is in port, or that the piece will be sold to someone else if you don't decide quickly. Some stores even create the impression that they are connected to the cruise line in some way, which can make passengers feel like the shop has been approved. But cruise lines typically do not guarantee the value of items purchased in port. So if you're shopping during a cruise stop, it's always a good idea to take your time. Never feel rushed into making a big purchase, especially when someone is claiming the item is a rare investment. Because once you sail away from that port, returning a piece of jewelry bought thousands of miles from home can be extremely difficult. Number 4. The free facial beauty treatment scam. This is one of those scams that catches cruise passengers completely off guard, because it doesn't start like a scam at all. It usually begins with something that sounds harmless. You're walking around a cruise port, enjoying the shops and the sunshine, when a friendly person standing outside a beauty store says something like, "Would you like to try a free skincare treatment? We're offering a complimentary facial for cruise visitors today. Come in for a quick skin test. It only takes 5 minutes." A lot of people think, why not? It sounds relaxing, and after all, it's free. And that's exactly how the trap begins. Once inside the store, everything feels very welcoming. You might be offered a drink while someone demonstrates a skincare product on your hand or face. The salesperson may start applying a cream or serum and pointing out how amazing it is. They might say things like, "Look how smooth your skin is already. Can you see the difference between your two hands? This product is made with special minerals from the Dead Sea." At first, it feels like a normal product demonstration, but then the sales pitch begins. They may bring out more products and start explaining that the creams are normally extremely expensive, but because your cruise ship is in port today, they can offer you a special deal. And this is where many passengers say things start to feel uncomfortable. The staff can become very persistent. They may keep lowering the price, offering bundle deals, or telling you the offer is only available if you buy something right now. Cruise forums and travel complaint sites are full of stories from passengers who went in expecting a quick free facial and walked out with charges they never intended to make. One cruiser described walking into a shop during a Caribbean port stop for what they thought would be a quick skincare demonstration. After nearly half an hour of pressure from several staff members, they finally agreed to buy a bundle of products just to end the conversation. Later, they realized they had been charged over $900 for the skincare set. When they looked up the same products online later, they discovered similar items selling for a fraction of that price. Another traveler said they felt so uncomfortable with the sales pressure that they ended up buying something just so they could leave the store. That's why many experienced cruisers have a simple rule when visiting cruise ports. If someone offers a free facial, free skincare test, or free beauty treatment, it's usually not really free at all. The goal is simply to get you inside the shop, where skilled salespeople have time to convince you to buy expensive products. So if you're exploring a cruise port and someone offers a free facial or skincare treatment, the safest thing to do is politely decline and keep walking. Because what starts as a quick 5-minute beauty treatment can sometimes turn into one of the most expensive stops of your entire cruise. Number 5, the resort timeshare trap. This is another scam that often catches cruise passengers when they're exploring a port. And at first, it sounds like an amazing deal. You might be walking through a shopping area near the cruise terminal when someone approaches you with a big smile and a friendly question. Are you visiting from the cruise ship today? When you say yes, they might say something like, we're offering cruise passengers a free day at our beach resort. You'll get free drinks, access to the pool, and transportation there and back. All you have to do is attend a short presentation. It sounds like a great opportunity. After all, who wouldn't want to spend the day relaxing at a beautiful resort instead of wandering around crowded tourist shops? And that's exactly why many people say yes. The staff often make it sound incredibly simple. They might say the presentation will only take 30 minutes, and after that you're free to enjoy the resort. But once you arrive, things can turn out very differently. Passengers have reported being taken into long presentations about vacation clubs or timeshare programs. Instead of lasting 30 minutes, these presentations can sometimes stretch into 2 or even 3 hours, and during that time, the sales pressure can be intense. Staff may explain that the program offers huge discounts on future vacations, luxury resort stays, or exclusive travel benefits. They may even show glossy brochures and videos of beautiful resorts around the world. Then they present the price. Some of these vacation clubs cost thousands of dollars, and passengers are often encouraged to sign contracts right there on the spot. One traveler shared a story online about accepting what they thought was a free beach day during a cruise stop in Mexico. Instead of a quick presentation, they spent nearly 3 hours being pressured by several different salespeople to join a vacation club. They finally managed to leave, but they said the experience completely ruined their afternoon in port. Another cruiser said they accepted the offer because it included free transportation and drinks. But after arriving at the resort, they realized the presentation was actually a full timeshare sales pitch, with staff pushing them to make a decision immediately. And that's the key warning sign. If someone offers something that sounds too generous, free transportation, free drinks, free resort access, there's almost always a catch. The real goal is to get you into a controlled environment where salespeople can spend hours trying to convince you to buy into an expensive program. That's why many experienced cruisers simply avoid these offers altogether. Because when you only have a few hours in port, spending most of it trapped in a high-pressure sales presentation is probably not how you imagined your cruise vacation. Before we get to the last two, if you're enjoying the video so far, please take a quick second to like and subscribe. I've got another video coming out soon with even more cruise ship scams to watch out for, and you definitely won't want to miss that one. Number 6. The fake visa or travel document website scam. This is another scam that often catches travelers before their cruise even begins. And many people don't realize they've been scammed until it's too late. It usually starts when someone is preparing for their trip. Many cruises visit multiple countries, and depending on where the ship is sailing, some passengers may need special travel authorizations or entry documents. For example, certain countries now require electronic travel authorizations that must be completed online before arrival. So naturally, people go online and search for something like travel authorization for visiting this country, visa needed for cruise passengers, and that's where scammers step in. They create websites that look incredibly official. The pages may use government-style logos, professional language, and forms that appear completely legitimate. Some of these websites even show up near the top of search results, which makes travelers believe they must be the real thing. Once you start filling out the form, everything seems normal. They ask for your name, passport details, travel dates, and cruise information, but then you reach the payment page. Instead of charging the normal government processing fee, the website suddenly asks for a much larger payment, sometimes 5 or 10 times the real cost. And because the site looks official, many travelers don't question it. One traveler shared a story about preparing for a cruise that included a stop in a country requiring an electronic travel authorization. They searched online, found what looked like the correct application site, and filled out the form. At the end of the process, they were charged nearly $150 for the document. Later, they discovered the actual government fee was closer to $20. The website had simply charged a huge processing fee for something the traveler could have done themselves in just a few minutes on the official government site. In other cases, people have paid these fees and never received any valid travel document at all, which can cause serious problems when boarding the cruise. Cruise experts often recommend one simple rule when dealing with visas or travel authorizations. Always apply through the official government website or follow the instructions provided directly by the cruise line. Because scammers know that travelers are nervous about missing documents for their trip, and they use that urgency to convince people to pay for something they never actually needed to buy. Number 7. The cruise port taxi scam. This is one of the most common scams cruise passengers run into, and it usually happens within minutes of stepping off the ship. You leave the cruise terminal excited to explore the port, and before you even reach the main street, someone approaches you. Taxi? Taxi? Where are you going? The driver is friendly, smiling, and often very convincing. They might say something like, I give you a good price. I take you anywhere you want. Much cheaper than the other taxis. And for many passengers, especially if you've never visited that port before, it can sound like a helpful offer, but this is where the scam begins. The driver may quote a price that seems reasonable, maybe something like $10 or $15 to go to a beach or a nearby attraction. You get into the taxi, start the ride, and everything seems normal. Then when you arrive at your destination, the price suddenly changes. Passengers have reported drivers saying things like, that was the price per person. That was only for the first part of the ride. There is also a port pickup fee. Suddenly that $15 ride becomes $60. Or $80, or even more. And because you're already at the destination, many people feel pressured to just pay it. Cruise forums are full of stories like this. One cruiser shared that they agreed to what they thought was a $20 ride for 2 people to a nearby beach during a Caribbean cruise stop. When they arrived, the driver demanded $20 per person each way, turning the ride into an $80 trip. Another passenger described taking what they believed was a short taxi ride in a Mediterranean port. The driver didn't use a meter, and when the ride ended, he claimed the price was much higher than originally discussed. When the passengers questioned it, the driver insisted that the price they heard earlier was only a starting price. In busy cruise ports where thousands of tourists arrive at once, these drivers know that many passengers are unfamiliar with the area and don't know what local transportation should actually cost. Some scammers even try another trick. They may offer to take you to a beautiful private beach or a special local market, but instead of the location you expected, they take you to a shop or attraction where they receive a commission for bringing tourists. Passengers sometimes realize later that they've been taken somewhere they never intended to go. That's why experienced cruisers almost always recommend using official taxi stands at the cruise port. These taxis are usually licensed, and many ports post official price lists for common destinations. Another good option is using transportation arranged by the cruise line or reputable tour companies, because while most taxi drivers around the world are honest, the reality is that cruise ports are busy tourist areas, and scammers know that cruise passengers often have limited time and little knowledge of the local prices. And when your ship sails away in just a few hours, it can be very difficult to do anything about a bad taxi experience after the fact. I think you're going to get a lot of value from the video on the end screen. I'll also be adding another cruise scam video soon, and when that one's finished, I'll place it here on the end screen for you as well.